Hi, Heydar. Thank you for joining me on the Rapid Insights podcast. It's great to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Dean. Thank you once again for having me here and feeling great. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Heydar, you've had a very successful marketing career to date. You've worked across e-commerce, data analytics, tech, to name but a few. I know you're an author of an amazing book, Rethinking Marketing in the Age of the Individual, which we will provide a link to in the comments. So I know you'll have some excellent pearls of wisdom for us to share with our listeners. So before we get into the insights part of the podcast of people that don't know you, don't know your background, I'd love to delve into some of your career history, how you got started, major milestones, and importantly, why marketing?
Well, I always found it curious and interesting about problem solving. And for me, marketing was constant problem solving. It wasn't, I don't like things when they get into autopilot mode. So for me, I found it very challenging and I love this challenge. And that's what keeps me going and what makes me happy to wake up and do the job that I'm doing. So hence marketing it is.
Perfect. And talk us through to kind of some of the companies that you worked for. Is it kind of been a developing the role? Is it always kind of been different challenges? What have you kind of seen? And then I guess the third part of the question is just trying to understand some of your sort of key marketing strategies, really, that shaped your success.
Sure, yeah. I mean, let me understand, address this bit by bit, right? Like regarding my experience, as you already mentioned, yeah, I had very different roles and different organizations from e-commerce to cybersecurity and all. But my first job in marketing was I started as a marketing assistant. I was responsible for translating complex product information into messages that accurately resonated. This role kind of taught me two invaluable lessons: clarity and empathy. I realized that people don't connect with features, right? Like they connect with benefits they can see in their own lives. This foundation, like understanding people's real needs rather than just promoting products, became my North Star. And marketing became more than just communication, and it became a way to build trust and genuine connections. That early experience shaped everything I've done since, from strategy to execution. It's about getting to the heart of what people truly value. And regarding the second part of the question regarding the strategies that shaped my success and all, there are pretty much two strategies that have guided me. Like, first, I would say empathy, and the second one is generosity. First, empathy, because marketing is about seeing the world through the eyes of people you are trying to reach. Right? Like, if you don't understand their pain points, you're just shouting into the void. Then, obviously, generosity. When you give more than you take, whether it is information, value, trust, people remember. They know when a brand actually cares, and that loyalty doesn't happen by accident, right? It's a result of consistently showing up with something meaningful to offer. So, when we create campaigns, it's not just to drive numbers, but to create something worth coming back to. And I would say in general, marketing isn't guesswork, right? Like it's about understanding. I use data not just to track but to uncover what makes people tick, their frustrations, needs, and aspirations. When you understand that, you move from selling products to solving problems. And yeah, secondly, I would say building connections over chasing metrics, right? Like in today's world, quick wins don't last. The
Yes.
brands that succeed are the ones that add value before asking for it, that think long term, that build trust. And overall, yeah, conversion is a byproduct of connection. Let me put it this way.
So just picking up on something that you mentioned there, because that is absolutely brilliant insight. I really like that, Hayden. And I guess it's about adding sort of that human touch completely, isn't it?
Exactly.
Especially around kind of the empathy piece, really trying to understand people, which is quite interesting now because, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about with things like AI coming in,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know whether you use that now or you're looking to, or kind of what you take. I'd love to kind of get your view on that, as well as kind of with the empathy side of things as well. You've also got to stay updated on sort of the latest, whatever it is within the market that's affecting things. So let's take cybersecurity, which is
Hmm.
the industry that I'm in. So we've got to be aware of kind of the latest cybersecurity threats and make sure
Yeah.
the messaging is relevant. So I guess it's kind of two sides really of the same coin. So, with it's changing all the time, isn't it? So how do you kind of keep up to date with those threats and trends and kind of build that into that empathy side?
Yeah, sure. I mean, regarding the empathy, and I mean, there are now so many variables. And regarding the first part of the question, AI and whether I see it as a threat, yes, in our industry, now I'm in the cybersecurity industry, yes, it can be used in a bad way. But marketing wise, yes, I use it. I use it as a tool. At the end of the day, it is just a tool. It is like for a painter, what the brush is for the painter, it is what for us. It can be a really good PA for you or brainstorming partner and all. But at the end of the day, it is just a tool. And well, what how I love thinking about it is like imagine like a microwaved food and food cooked by a famous Michelin star chef. Obviously, at the end of the day, it is a food and we use it for the purpose. But what kind of food we get, what kind of result we are after, that's the thing, and how also we use it. And regarding the cybersecurity side of the things, like how do I, like keep myself up to date with the,
The latest threats and things.
cybersecurity
Yep.
topics. Well, I think overall our staying current in cybersecurity is about constant curiosity at the end of the day
Mhm.
and connecting with people who are deeply embedded in the field
Yes.
because this is very specific area and a topic. And personally, I follow real-time threat intelligence sources, obviously, and subscribe to niche cybersecurity newsletters and podcasts, and stay close to thought leaders who simplify the complex. But most importantly, I would say I'll focus on the why behind the news because trends and threats change constantly, especially in cybersecurity.
Mhm.
But if we understand why a particular threat resonates, we can craft messaging that speaks to real concerns, not just the buzzwords.
It is. Brilliant. And so, I mean, that can be quite the challenge sometimes, isn't it? Because you're educating clients, people that you're working with,
Yeah,
sometimes about really complex topics, and cybersecurity can be really, really complex.
exactly.
Do you kind of see that a challenge and kind of how do you overcome that? Is that something when you're kind of taking on a project, you think about, look, how complex is this and how can we, not to say that we're kind of dumbing things down, but to translate it and especially using your brand's message as well to get those messages across.
Exactly. I mean, yes, I would label it as even the biggest challenge. I mean, the biggest challenge is bridging the gap, as you correctly said, like between fear and understanding. Because
Yes.
cybersecurity can feel super overwhelming, even patronizing sometimes because of its complexity.
Yes.
But great messaging turns complexity into clarity, right? Like instead of leaning into fear, I've choose to focus on what the solution enables, peace of mind, let's say resilience and proactive stance. Because when we shift from jargon just to benefits, clients don't just understand the risks, they feel empowered to take actions.
Brilliant. And so just taking things back, if you were to kind of go back in time, to look back at kind of the start of your career, what kind of tips or advice would you give to someone kind of stepping in your shoes today? What kind of advice would you give to help them navigate the kind of the earliest challenges, I guess, and set a strong foundation on their career?
Sure. Well, three things pretty much like listen deeply, taste bravely, and value curiosity, I would say. Listen because marketing is more about others than yourself, right? And every audience has a story, and the closer you get to it, the better you can serve them. Test because the market is always moving, and being willing to fail means you're willing to innovate and stay endlessly curious, because marketing changes daily, right? Like, and the moment you stop exploring, you start falling behind. So I would say keep experimenting and see every campaign as a learning experience.
Excellent. Really good advice, Heydar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the final question. So this is something pertinent to me because I've worked in sales for 20 years and it's kind of all I've ever really done, really. So I kind of appreciate the challenges that come with driving new business and demand that's set by everybody really that works in an organization because we have to do business. That's why we're operating. So,
Right.
and I've seen the challenging expectations that salespeople can place on marketing teams. So it'd be interesting to see what you perceive of that relationship. Do you find that as a challenge sometimes between salespeople? You know, could it be better aligned, or has your experience only been positive?
Well, to be honest, it depends on your perspective and the company culture.
Sure.
But personally, for me, I don't see it as like a very big challenge or a problem. But let me put it this way, sales and marketing are partners in telling the same story.
Well,
And marketing creates the story that makes people care. And sales is the part of the story that makes them act. When they are aligned, they are not just pushing products, right? Like they are building trust. The goal, I would say, is the same, to solve a problem and make a difference. Marketing lights the path, showing people what's possible, and sales is the guide that helps them take the next step. When both teams see themselves as a part of a single journey, they stop competing and start creating value. And that's where it becomes interesting.
fantastic. Hey, Dal, that is the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. That's great. Guys, make sure to go and check out Heydal's book in the comments, and we'll see you at one of our events soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.